Hi all, Dan the Unknown here. Today I'm going to do a review of a Harley Benton ST-20. First off, I gotta say, it's a really good looking guitar. Um, it's a basswood body with a maple neck and a rosacer fretboard. And from my understanding is the rosacer is a treated maple, but it's basically looks like a rosewood fretboard. Um, the frets are very short, they're not tall frets, and I don't have any calluses on my fingers. My fingertips are mushy, so when I press down, I can feel the wood underneath my fingertips, and the rosacer doesn't really quite feel like real wood, if that makes sense. It kind of feels fake. And I've had this guitar since November, and since then I've gotten used to it, so it doesn't bother me at all. But the first couple days it was a little bit of an issue to me, but now it doesn't bother me at all. The trem is a bit cheap feeling, but works pretty well. Stays in tune pretty good. A little squeaky when I get it too tight, obviously. The tuners are just cheap generic tuners, non-locking. They stay in tune pretty good for generics. Like most generics, it has a little bit of play before it starts turning. The nut is a plastic nut, but it's rounded on the edges, which is nice for doing open chords and all. You don't like catch yourself on it. It seems to be cut pretty good because I don't have any of that issue of strings getting caught while I'm tuning or popping or any of that stuff. Let's see what else. Generic pickups. I'm not sure if they're Roswell generics or if they're just totally unbranded. All the knobs function fine. Switch works good. Jack is fine. One thing I do wish with the trem is the saddle bridge screws were shorter, because I would really like to screw these down a little bit more to get the action slightly lower. But they're at a point where the screws aren't bothering me when I do palm mutes, so it's fine. It still plays great. I guess for the cons, I would say the action was really high out of the box. It took a little bit of adjustment of the truss rod to bring the bow back down. I got the action pretty good. It's, like I said, I'd like to put the saddles a little lower to get the action a little bit lower, but other than that, it's great. The fret edges were really sharp at first, but I sanded them down and they're pretty good now. I also rounded the edges of the fretboard off while I did that. Took about half an hour for all that. Well worth it. It's much smoother playing than it was out of the box. The trem cavity is kind of messy a little bit. It's totally aesthetic. It doesn't affect how well it stays in tune or anything. And the only time I'll ever look at it is if I'm looking at the back, because I like to keep the trem cover off. I'll probably be able to just scrape that out anyways. And I guess that would be it really for the cons. The pros are, like I said, though they're generic pickups, they sound really good, especially like the neck. I'm going to be changing the bridge pickup out with some cheaper replacement brand. If I don't like it, I'll put this back. I'm not opposed to keeping this one. I'm just testing the waters. Yeah, For the $73, this is a very well built guitar. I don't see any issues in the build. I don't see any flaws or defects. I think I might have saw one or two minor things when I took it out of the box, but if I did, they're not sticking out to me at the moment. The finish looks great. No like scratches in the finish or anything or dings. And the other pro for this is it's a good modding platform because it's cheap, and I would definitely recommend this guitar to somebody who wants to learn how to mod or just to practice mods on. If you ruin it, it's not a whole lot of money out of your pocket, at least not as far as guitar prices go anyways. I would definitely recommend this to a beginner. Even if you have to make some adjustments, you can look up on the internet how to make the adjustments, or better yet, if you know somebody who can do it for you. It's fairly easy, and I've seen other videos talking about this model guitar that have come out with the action pretty good, so good chance you won't have to make any adjustments. And I'd also suggest this to anybody who maybe doesn't have a single coil guitar and doesn't have a lot of use for one, but would just like to have one just for options. It's a pretty decent low cost one for if you're not going to use one that much. And I guess that's really it that I can say about it. I've really enjoyed this guitar for the last few months I've had it. I've played it quite a bit, and hope you enjoy this. I hope you enjoy the sound samples, and take it easy. Bye. It is a bit noisy, by the way. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.